on this Friday, December 19th. I'm James, and I am James. Just me today. Brendan is taking the day off as he had some time left, taking off all next week. Good for him. And it is me. I'm taking some time off next week, too, for the holiday, of course. But you got just me today. Iran is doing a book club as well. So maybe Ryan Turco, our creative services director, will just walk in the door and start chatting, but that's okay because I have a lot to talk about, and I really want to focus on weather a lot today. So that's what I'm going to cover a bunch of as we have a very active pattern today. And we can do a little behind the scenes. I'll talk about what's going to come up over the weekend. We'll take a look at next week. Talk about having a white Christmas, possibly, or not having a white Christmas as well. So lots to cover here today. Oh, it even says I'm Brendan Somers. How about that? The super. That's what they call them, super. I don't even know why we call them supers. Lower thirds makes a lot more sense in my head for those that always see the thing that comes up on the bottom there. Lower thirds, right? It's on the lower third of the screen. That makes sense there. Okay, yeah, email Brendan with your questions. So we'll keep it at that. Okay, so let's see here. So a couple of things that I want to look at. I'm going to pull up our great website in the Camera One right monitor, rochesterfirst.com. And a lot of interesting things here. The one that jumps out at me is the power outages. We have power outages because of likely the weather. Now, we can never, of course, claim exactly why we have the power outages, but you got to assume we had strong wind gusts this morning, 40 to 50 miles per hour. I think the airport hit 46 miles per hour, and so that probably caused some outages. So getting over a cold here, so I might be clearing my throat quite a bit here. If you go to our website and you look for outages, you can click on this here, and it'll have the RG&E website pop right up for the list of outages. And it's pretty impressive. I'm sure you've probably already seen this before, but if you're just listening to me, I will explain through what I'm doing. It's very easy to find. If you have the RG&E app, you can find it as well. And what's amazing about this is you can really go down to the street level. So let's do that. Why not? And you look at the numbers, 304,000 customers served in Monroe County and 1,400 without power. So that's like less than 0.5%. It's a very small number. But if you are without power, you know it, and you're upset about it. 496, call it 500 in Brighton. Bucks 78 in Chili. A couple other people, let's see, 417 in Penfield. A few dozen in downtown. A few dozen in Pittsford. So let's 496. Which one's the top? Top dog is Brighton here. And then you click again. And then here we go. Alaimo Drive, Alaimo Drive, 39 without power. Avon Drive, 24. Colonial Village Road, Commodore Parkway. If any of these streets sound familiar, might not have power. Inwood Drive, Forest Hills Road. It's so down to the street, which I think is so cool. And then it shows you the estimated restoration, which is assessing. That's what they give you. That's because they don't know. That's probably because everybody reported it. And it gets reported. It shows whether or not it's reported, and then it comes in. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's just look at one more town to see if it's like still assessing. So that was the east side, right, in Brighton. Brighton's, yeah, east side. And then we'll swing over to, let's say, Parma, for example, which is, Hilton, which is way over there. Okay, so we actually have an estimated restoration time here. So Clearview Ave, 21 without power. Lakeside Boulevard, 31 without power. 9:15 this morning. So that's what, in 10 minutes. So we'll see. Maybe it's already up with that. So once that's done, maybe they'll swing over to Brighton. So watching power outages, yeah. So let's jump over to weather, right? Let's take a look at and see exactly what's going on. I can give a more a clearer view of this here. I know I've got the 8-day forecast up, but let's click through a couple of graphics here because I do want to show exactly what we are looking at here as this is a very active system that's moving through. Low pressure to the north, and that has produced a cold front along the south edge of it, which is normally where you find the cold front, and it has allowed to fire up really strong winds. We've had 40, 50 mile per hour winds. There's the peak wind gust, 46 miles per hour earlier today, and we had a soaking rain. I ran outside with an umbrella and brought that on television. Check out my social medias for that as the umbrella inverted here. And you see the rain pushing through and even some light snow showers behind it. Now, I'm not sure if these snow showers are verifying. This is radar, so it's never a slam dunk that this is actually what people are seeing. But it's radar guesstimating the fact that we have temperatures dropping so quickly that there could be some snow showers coming down. I would guess this is probably maybe a mix, like mostly rain with some like wet stuff trying to fight through it. But that's something to watch. Look at the actual boundary that is moving through New York State. Impressive here. Herkimer County probably is about to get it. Utica just got that really strong wind gust. Boonville got that strong wind gust there as well. Boonville is the home of Stewart's Shops there. If you ever go shop at Stewart's, they got a couple up there in the North Country. So who's next? It looks like it's working through Otsego County is getting some action. Sullivan County there as well. So a lot of these spots, very rural in those areas before you get to Albany, the capital region. They've got probably an hour, I would say, until that boundary moves on through. But what's impressive with this is how quickly the dry air filters in. You look right off to the west, and where we are, Rochester's probably done with it. I know this is very pertinent. This is like, so if you're watching this live with me, this really works out. If you are behind or catching this post-air, this is probably relatively irrelevant, but maybe you could just reflect on, yes, you went through this earlier this morning. But that's what you get with me. Now, what's interesting is what's going to happen behind it. How much lake effect snow are we going to see behind this system here with rain and snow showers potentially mixing in? Already seeing it in Buffalo here. Let's talk about temperatures, though, because I think that's really what's impressive, is how we have slipped and slid all the way down to where we are now, 37 degrees. I was talking temperatures this morning in the 50s. 50 degrees, 54, 55. I think 54 was the official high temperature for today. And we've tumbled down. We're in the mid-30s now, and those numbers are not going to stop. Wind gusts, 25 miles per hour, direction out of the west. So that's going to keep pushing temperatures down and down and down. And we are going to end ourselves all the way down into the mid-20s this afternoon. So there's your hour by hour down to the lower 20s even by early tomorrow morning. Those little squiggles there, that means wind. An interesting pattern over the next couple of days as we have a couple more fronts that are going to work their way through. So today, we just kind of slowly die those winds down. I think still 30 to 40 miles per hour tonight. I'm still planning on going out to look at some Christmas lights there. That's kind of my goal for this evening. But a lot of them have thresholds to how strong you want the winds to be, or you don't want the winds to be, I guess, when it comes to those blow-ups. Because I was driving down toward Penfield and saw one house just had massive blow-ups there on the front lawn of Santa Claus. And you got to take them down in weather like this. So it's just not happening, unfortunately, for a lot of those people that want to keep it up. And it's going to just keep continually being windy here. We've got wind gusts that are going to be pushing right up 30 to 40 miles per hour the next couple of days. Here, let me show this graphic. Does kind of a nice job at showing how strong the wind gusts are going to be throughout the weekend there. So through today, 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Tomorrow, they finally come down a little bit. But even still, your 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. And then they bump right back up into Saturday. What's interesting is the wind direction, how it keeps changing. That's just a sign of multiple fronts that keep moving through there as well. All right, so let's take a look maybe ahead down the line as we get towards what will be Christmas and what could potentially happen on Christmas. So White Christmas, to define it for you, is 1 inch of snow on the ground at 7 a.m. Christmas morning on the 25th. That is generally it's a coin flip in Rochester. So whether or not we see it, that's a good question. So I'm going to transition it over to our weather bell. This is probably what Eric Snidel shows during his daily evening weather plus. Watch those. He drops a lot of good knowledge there as we get into the overnight. I think it's 10 p.m. is that show. So I'm sleeping by then. But here's your forecast. This is just a 1 hour precipitation type, and the line is a constant pressure there. And you see as we get into, okay, so you're probably looking at this map and think, James, what are you showing me? Or I should probably also verbally explain it. I do expect us to see light snow showers Sunday, but it's not going to be much. We only get a half inch or so, and even that, it's probably not going to stick because we get warm again as we get into Tuesday. Tuesday is the time that we potentially could see a storm system that gives us some sort of precipitation. And that precipitation, ideally, if we're cold enough, can fall as snow, and that would be able to stay for as long as we would want it to. Okay, I see what's going on here. I need 6 hours. There we go. Okay, so this is the 25th here, and it's got rain. So it may rain on Christmas, and here's the 23rd, our only chance for snow right there. It's not great. We're probably too warm. I'm thinking we get a green Christmas. I don't think we get a white Christmas. I'll say it right now. We have to see Tuesday trend a lot colder if we really want snow on the ground. So, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. Fortunately, though, maybe a lot of people are fine with that. Say, good. It means I don't have to shovel on the holiday, and I can actually just enjoy it. Also, I think it's good because travel shouldn't be that bad as well, right? I think people trying to get around town, I think it's going to be fine. So, you know what would be nice? If you won the Powerball on Christmas. Wouldn't that be great? Let's talk about it. No winner last night. We had no jackpot winner. I don't know. Oh, you know why this is faded? Because they're asking for cookies. Accept all cookies. There was one ruling that happened a few years ago that forced all companies to make it a job, make every single website offer you to whether or not you want to accept the cookies. And I think it's a pain in the butt. Sure, fine. Cookie me all day long. I like cookies. So, track my data. Okay, so there's your winning numbers there, 25, 33, 53, 62, 66, 17. You got to pay for these. And the winner, there was no jackpot winner. There was a couple of $2 million winners in Arizona and Massachusetts, and a couple of $1 million winners. 3 in New York, probably, New York City. So next drawing, Saturday, December 20th, 37 hours, 45 minutes from now. Estimated jackpot, $1.5 billion. Cash value, $686 million. After tax, split that, probably, it's amazing, $300 million maybe. So get your tickets now. For that drawing here. And maybe you can get your power back for those that are without power. Okay, I'm going to take a break here. After this break, I want to talk housing. We got a story that's very popular on our website about housing. And then we'll keep it moving here. So thanks for staying with me. Not Brennan Sommers. I always turn the sound on twice. I don't know why. Welcome back. I'm James Gilbert. I'm doing this quick solo show on a Friday for second cup of sunrise. I had my coffee much earlier than I normally do this morning, right after the cut-ins at 7:05. That was my second cup, literally. I always do iced coffee in the mornings. And I just switched because it's just faster. When you wake up at 2:30 in the morning, you just trim and trim and trim. I've been doing this for years now. So I've just trimmed out every little bit of excess time throughout the morning to try to make it as efficient as possible. I eat breakfast at work. I make the coffee at home, but all I do is I make a carafe. I have a nice carafe of coffee, and it's kind of nice, actually. I'll explain it because what else am I going to talk about? It's got this cylinder that looks like where you would put, like a normal coffee, and you dump coffee in there. I do 6 scoops, and then you fill it up slowly with water. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do that, but that's really the only way. You can't really dump water in it and then drop the coffee, and it wouldn't work that way. Or maybe it would. I never tried it, but it doesn't really make sense that way. So I slowly drip cold water in there, and then I stir it around in this long cylinder, and then voila. I let it stew for 24 hours, and then it's ready to rock. Gets me about 3 days worth of good iced coffee there. And, I could put creamer in, but I just have it black, And then when I get to work, I'll do a hot second cup of coffee late morning. What I know Brendan likes his hot coffee too. He's a Starbucks guy, but I've really tried to cut off coffee in the afternoon. So many people do it, but I just don't. Everything I read and everything I see says coffee's not good for you in the afternoon after 2 or 3 o'clock, especially with my 8:30 bedtime. It just messes with your sleep. Sure, you can fall asleep, but when you wake up groggy or you wake up tired, I'm going to blame it on the coffee, blame it on the afternoon cup. Now, today's Friday, so I'll probably push it till 10 o'clock tonight. And so I might have that extra cup, but there's a half-life of coffee. You have to remember that this half-life, it doesn't matter how you feel, your body or the half-life of coffee doesn't change. So you might feel okay, you might think you're fine, but there's still coffee, there's still caffeine in you, and that's going to impact your brain in a certain way, no matter how you feel, or, oh, coffee doesn't affect me much. Yes, it does. You might have an increased tolerance to coffee, but that doesn't change the actual physiological aspect of what the caffeine does to your body. So, like, I used to be kind of that person. Like, I'd have a cup of coffee in the evening and be able to go to sleep and feel okay the next day. But what are the long-term impacts of that? So, all right, I'll get off my soapbox here. I wanted to talk about housing because it's such a topic. Every time I'm always in a conversation with somebody, it always ends up talking about housing, right? So let's see. Outages was the number one story on our website. Number two story is, well, if you want to go through all of them, the arrest and Greece using illegal GPS tracking. That was a big story as well. But it's top 10. It's bouncing up and down. It was originally number 2. But what makes Rochester the number 2 housing market for 2026? And Rochester somehow squeezes up there as the top housing market and has multiple times, I feel like, for over a long period of time. So here we go. I'm going to read through this. Realtor.com has ranked Rochester as the second best housing market in the United States for 2026, with home sales expected to rise by 5.5% and median sale prices by 10%. The city's affordability, low inventory, and strong borrower financial metrics make it an attractive market for buyers, particularly those relocating from high-cost areas. Rochester is part of a refugee market trend, attracting buyers from coastal areas. The city's stable older homeowner base and aging housing stock contribute to tight supply and price growth. So a couple of interesting notes from that refugee market. What could that mean? If you look at the general trends of people moving, people are still moving to the South. They're still moving to Texas, still moving to Florida, still moving to the Gulf states. I think because of weather is one of the big reasons. People just don't like the cold, even though our winters have gotten milder because of climate change over the past several decades. Climate change has made things easier to manage. We've gotten less snow, we get less cold snaps, spring comes earlier, summer is longer. Okay, and that's trend is going to continue across all of the Great Lakes. We are a general safe haven when it comes to climate change. We're still impacted by it, but not as much as to the south. I've heard a lot of anecdotal evidence about Florida. It's not just anecdotal, too. A lot of evidence about that Florida has gotten hotter, it's gotten more humid, it's gotten stormier, it's much less pleasant than it used to be in the 50s, 60s, 70s. My uncle is one that I'm talking about. He used to live in Florida for many decades, and he left for New York because he said the weather was just getting worse and worse and worse. And of course, you got hurricanes. For what it's worth, they did not get a landfalling hurricane. The United States did not get a landfalling hurricane this year. Hurrah, that's great. You have Hurricane Melissa that devastated Jamaica, but it did not hit the United States. Okay, back to our story. What I think is interesting about this is top housing market. If you are looking for a house, you're probably struggling because it's really hard to buy a house right now. Quote, Rochester home sales are forecast to rise by 5%. Okay, we already said that. Median list price of $256,000, significantly more affordable than the national median, around $415,000. That just surprises me. $400K is the median home price in this country? Whew. That is just wild. New construction, this is interesting. New construction accounts for only 6.8% of listings in Rochester. There are just no new builds. And of course, I'm curious, is this just the city or is this Monroe County? National, well below the national average of 16.5%, with home prices 137% higher than existing homes. Low inventory continues to put upward pressure on home prices and fuels rapid growth. There's a lot of builds that are happening. There's some in Pittsford. I know there's some on the west side. You just have to find them. And it might not be what you want, though. Increase in monthly payments for new buyers in Rochester is about 56%. The national average of 73%. Okay, I guess that's okay. Yeah, borrowing down with loans as well. So, if you're looking, you just got to keep looking. Unfortunately, it's slick out there. Cool story that Brennan did about a new optics facility at Monroe Community College. The Advanced Technology Center is not only getting fixed, but
backup cameras in cars, the Sphere in Las Vegas, and improving the ways in which we live every single day. Having this new building and the generosity of the Sidor family means that we can train more students who are desperately needed within this industry.
How's the size compared to where you have been operating?
This is going to enable us to double the number of students, double the capacity, our training spaces. We have state-of-the-art manufacturing labs. We're expanding upon that. The intent is to train more people because the industry in Rochester, which is comprised by over 150 optics companies, needs our students. And Sidor is one of those places that really needs our students even more.
Jonathan, why did you decide to do this, to take this step?
So my father has a long history with MCC. Himself was a graduate of the optics program many years ago. And he has, throughout the years, he created very good friendships and bonds with the individuals that were in the optics program. And then over the years, the program started to fade out. And in recent years, there was only 4 graduates of the program. And he saw a program which provided a great living for him and all of his employees. And
Lasers.
So years ago, he stepped in with some friends of his, other optics leaders, and they revived the program. And Alexis joined the program after that. And it's just been steamrolling ahead, doing a fantastic job. So we wanted to give back, and we thought this would be a way that would really help not only the optics program, but also the optics community for many years to come.
Alexis, we hear the word optics. That's what we'll see on the side of the building and everything, but is that just it that this is covering?
No, this covers so much more. In fact, in addition to the optics program, HVAC, machining, auto will also be housed at this location. We're really
HVAC. That would have been my other career, either HVAC or electrician. Carpentry. Yes, I like carpentry. I feel like it's a little hard on the body.
Really excited to be moving the previous ATC building on East Henrietta Road to this new location as well, which is a great opportunity because all of these fields are in much demand across the Rochester region and around the United States.
It's a slam dunk. You're getting a job if you're doing that.
Jonathan, you mentioned that location. We don't have to go anywhere. It's right there. Yeah. Finding success in this field. What would
Here we go. This is the good stuff right here. And then we'll wrap it up. I'm running out of time.
you tell to a young person, a family out there, someone looking for a new career?
There's a lot of different opportunities in the optics industry. I would say a strong work ethic is first and foremost, but we look for a lot of creativity and open-mindedness. We see that a lot with people that like to cook, athletes, artists. So people with those skills typically excel very well.
They excel really well within the classroom. These artists, musicians.
I love that. Strong work ethic. Work hard, right? I think that also, people that like to cook. I love cooking. That's what I should talk about. I could do so long on cooking.
Yeah. Gamers, chefs, mechanics.
Also gamers. That was a really interesting one that she said. Gamers, which is so popular. Everybody games, right? But she goes into hand-eye coordination, super important, things like that. All right, it's Friday. Thank you so much all for listening to me and getting through this second cup without Brennan. You guys are great. I'll see you on Monday as well. Aran should be joining me, and we will talk. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you Monday, 9 a.m. Let's do this.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.